that like you're low masters ish, and you basically play a bunch. You basically play a lot of the DPS pool. I guess you can give me like a little bit of context behind like the I guess the tournament game that you're playing in right now, as well as the characters that you're mostly playing as well. And maybe some stuff about your team play as well in terms of like what comps you guys like running, that kind of stuff too, and what characters you feel most comfortable on.
Uh, for this tournament specifically, mostly been playing hit scan. Our team m- was really comfortable on like a very fast full commit monkey dive with Lucio Kiri and Tracer. We had a Pharah instead of the usual Genji,
Okay.
but that's what we normally like to ran. Uh, we were trying a bunch of different stuff out for this scrim specifically though, because Monkey kind of got gutted to dirt for no reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, yeah. So, and at this point, I started feeling like Soj is more non-negotiable, and I don't know what I do wrong on Soj because to me it's like I hit my shots fairly decently. It's more
Right.
so I'm not getting the amount of value to where we can win a fight off of my shots.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like there's a few things I guess that like I mean literally just now the last hour or so or the last few hours I've been looking back at the nightmare game between them and Crazy Raccoons and sort of like
The
what
first one, or just
the first one, yeah. I mean I'll get on I was getting on onto the second one later, but the first one in terms of like how Lethal was like playing because he's very what Lethal's really good at in that game was a like timing his engages or timing his slides really well and timing his pincers really well with Zero and Cuffer. But a massive downside, and actually this was kind of one of his biggest issues in the second match, and even part of the first match too, is that he was really bad at baiting. Or in other words, he's really bad at pushing his luck on the character, and he was taking these really aggressive angles because he almost wanted to be jumped on by their dive team or by their tracer, by their tank, by their Winston, whatever the case was, and he would end up dying for it. Now I know when you've got that double slide perk, you can really like push your luck in terms of how far you can really play. But there's only a certain extent of that, right? It depends on like how mobile the enemy frontline is. I mean, I'm seeing they're running Hog right now, so you might be able to push your luck a little bit more in terms of where you want to be playing, because the only person that can reach you is Tracer. But in other words, like you wouldn't be putting yourself in positions to where you feel comfortable or like you almost want them to sort of push you and dive you, because if you do, you can slide out and you'll be comfortable with that. There's also a second part of that too, which is more generally you want to be trying to look for or find positions in the mid fight to get good angle value on. You're a good enough player at this sort of velo to where you'll probably do it most of the time, or you'll do it enough to where again you'll get good angles for railgun shots. But again, if I'm seeing like a hog on their team, or I'm seeing their tracer's got no recall, and you've got like double power slide, or you've got roll gun, or you can slide up to a really good angle that the tracer hog can't reach you, i.e. a high ground position, then there should be no excuse for you to be able to rotate there. So the main things I'm going to be looking here, at least in this game, is where you slide to, how far you really push your angles, and I guess in this specific matchup, I guess here really, your disruptor shot usage. Because it's kind of like Ash Dynamite in terms of people just really don't, they just spam it out and they think it's like a meaningless cooldown. In actuality, it's really vital, especially when you're playing against Genji and Tracer or really aggressive front lines that can really dive you and pressure you out. It's really important in Ash as well, but even Disruptor shot against like Tracer, like if she's playing cover, the DS the corner and she can't play that anymore, and you can force recall out of that, and that relieves a lot of pressure on your character. So I'm looking at this game. I'm basically going to look at how much you can live for, and where you're going to be playing. I'm sure your mechanics won't be an issue, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. I guess the last thing here, and this is more so team specific as well, it might be an issue you might run into when you get against better teams or when you scrim higher teams. I really don't like double spam DPS, mostly because you can't like you both of you guys have to bait essentially. Like both of you really can't play aggressively. The reason for that, and actually this is one of the things Crazy Raccoons did on King's Row against Nightmare, and it was awful, and it's part of the reason why they lost the map, was that they ran, I think they literally ran, I think Farah plus Sojourn, I think they ran the same DPS lineup, and their Farah just died every time because they would Ray, and Farah can't dash out like a Genji, she just can't hold space, so maybe it's something that you guys might want to think about in terms of running or switching your character lineup a little bit, but barring that, nothing crazy. And in this elo, it should be fine anyways. So we'll get onto it, and yeah, okay. Let's see here. Fine. Foxy, you're right, obviously. Okay. I mentioned that in a little moment there. He's feeding. Okay, sure. Okay, so small thing here. Like, what do you think you could be doing? Like, you're looking around to get a railgun, right? But what's something you could be doing in between that, or like trying to, I guess, keep in mind of when you're looking around for a rail? Like, how could you be min-maxing your APM here, basically?
I could try to take an earlier angle onto the what's this, lighthouse?
Right. So that's one thing you can do. I think in this first fight, because you don't know what they're running, so like I think against Hog it's reasonable. I think against Tracer it's reasonable, right? But maybe you don't know the soldiers are right there, or like you don't know that they're back and set up, right? You don't know where your team's playing. Maybe your team can't actually help support you if you're going left side, right? So I think first fight, I think it's okay for you to play a little bit slower, just because you just don't know what they're running necessarily. But that's a valid point, right? Like no one can reach you, and like it's Tracer on this map is awful. Hog on this map is mostly awful. Soldier can't reach you. Like this is a dog shit team comp on this map. Holy fuck. But yeah, you can really stand here and no one's gonna come for you. So I think that's a really valid point. The second one though, that I'm also go on.
I think I was just hyper focused on hitting the rail shot.
yeah. I obviously I get why. It kind of again that kind of links into the point I was actually looking to make with in terms of like your APM. Which is like you see Trace is like playing this corner, or she's trying to like play this sort of central pillar here, and then you're getting enough rail charge, right? Just not looking around. What could you do on this corner?
I could send a disruptor shot
right
behind it.
And then what is Tracer going to do?
She's going to go the opposite way of it, so I could pre-aim the other side.
Right, so then you can exactly. So you could DS here, free fire here, and then maybe she's forced to what's it called, blink over here, and then who knows? That can give you a prompt to actually hit a railgun. And you get a free pick onto the Tracer, right? And then that can snowball into a fight win. So again, like the DS, like again, people don't really think about DS as a intentional ability. It's kind of like it's a whatever ability, right? You play Search for Rail, but again, it's really important for your own safety, mind you, because even if you miss the rail here, you're probably gonna force recall, or you're gonna make it really uncomfortable for this Tracer. At least get her to half HP, and then she's gonna fuck off, right? And that's even more of a reason to actually take the angle here, right? So it's all linking into each other here essentially. Where you force up the Tracer, then you can start pushing up a little bit more, you take a better angle. You don't need to hit the railgun, obviously, but yeah, that's kind of the idea there, I suppose. And also, one thing as well, if you want to move left side, what do you need to say to your team?
Where I'm about to position with the slide.
Right, so you can say, probably like sliding left, or like I want to slide left, or just saying your intention of like, okay guys, I'm moving left side here. I'm saying that intention so that you guys can actually help me. And then if you can't, then you can say wait, or the backlink can say wait if you know they feel uncomfortable with you going left side, or if they can't help you. But in this case, obviously it's fine because they can never reach you here. And actually, had you like done that, you probably would have avoided the hook. This big hog guy moves back main here, and yeah, you get LOS, so he gets fairly unlucky-ish with the hook. And again, that could have like potentially ended up in you getting traded out there with the Lucio. Okay. Alright. Obviously I think you got hard on here eventually, yeah, you do. Thank God you did it in time. But this is the thing, right? Tracer can only, like this map is terrible for Tracer because the way she can reach high ground is two-dimensional. She can either reach it by blinking here, then blinking here, which is impossible for her to do because there's open space. Or she has to just do some like dumbass flank, like the entire round of the map, do ring around the rosy and come and reach you, which is also really predictable. So again, this is like I mean, people like Spylo, other coaches will call this dynamic positioning in terms of like you cannot stay here for a prolonged period of time because if you do, you're just giving that Tracer all the time in the world, the path all the way around the map to come and reach you, and that's exactly what's happening here. So I don't know if you die for this, right? But against a Tracer with better aim, or a quicker Tracer, or Tracer with better pathing, or whatever the case may be, or hell, if they're running D.Va here maybe, or an actual mobile character, you're dead here. So yeah, a bit unfortunate. Okay. And that's also, by the way, that's also why you set your intention. Because you said you can, oh, I'm moving left side, guys. Your Kiriko can come with you, and then even if the Tracer goes onto you, you get help from your Kiri. Well, yeah, I'm not going to talk about Kiri micro here, really, but yeah. Okay. I'll say it now because I don't know. You might want to link this session to your team. But in mid fight, I hope you guys are doing this. Your Lucio will set a position for your Kiriko in the mid fight, so your Kiriko can TP if she gets pressured out, and then she'll TP to your Lucio. That's typically how Lucio Kiri micro works. It's really important. But yeah, okay. We'll see here. Okay, angle is fine. Okay, nice roll. Okay. Actually, I want to see what you DS'd before that because it's on CD right now. Let's go back a little bit here. Okay. Yeah, I think it's seeing the Tracer strafe here, and then yeah, I think that's fairly reasonable. You get the Kiriko as well. I've got no complaints there really. I think DS is fine. Okay. Let's see here. So you start on Soldier, start on Hog a little bit. You get the targets if you pick. Okay. Fine. What was the D peak there for? Were you expecting someone to come up here again?
No, I don't know why my.
Because you kind of like paused there for a little bit. You were like, because I thought you were gonna like look up here to the right. But yeah.
I was just kind of like, I saw getting shot by the soldier, and I was more afraid of like the helix. So
oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I guess that's fairly reasonable. But I wouldn't be too scared if I were you. Like again, that comp is like legitimately awful. I don't know who their coach is. They definitely haven't got one. But like that is an awful comp for this map. So I would not be too terrified. Okay, patrons well done. Okay, I mean you end up taking the helix anyways. But yeah. Also, good soldiers as well. They won't just like pre-fire. I mean, they could pre-fire it, right? But like they'll do it if they've got good reason to expect you peeking out here. So like if they see you, then they'll probably helix you. If they don't see you, they'll shoot something else, right? They won't. 90% of soldiers will not like hold this angle or like wait for you to peek out. Especially if you've got railgun, because it's just too risky. But yeah. Okay. Yes, it's good. Right, nice, right, and like even though you didn't have to hit a railgun, right, because he just can't move it out. He's in the open space, right? He's between a rock and a hard place. So really good DS there. Okay.
I expect better from you.
All right. See, this is why. Okay, if I go, I'm really curious with what the fuck your backline does. What's your Lucio? He's vibing. Okay, where's your carry as well? I mean, technically, you're setting a good TP for you can also do this as well, mind you, but it's not something that you should be thinking about doing that much. You can also set a good TP for your carry. Your Luce is just being dumb as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
Our main Lucio player is like hyper aggressive, like Frogger type of Lucio.
Right.
This is one of our like reserve players.
Right. Oh, right. I mean, even if I was coaching him, I'd probably say if you want to do that, that's fine. You can still ward over here, be really aggressive, and then set a good TP for your Kiriko. So you can still do the same thing, just again doing it in a different way. You're doing fine there, though. There's nothing else you can really do here. Like I'm not gonna say to drop off high ground here. You probably die. You're low HP. It was just a bit of micro. You took a helix and you can't really peek out that wide, and your front line got run over. So yeah, nothing crazy. So laying back is reasonable. Fine. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. Features here is good, I don't mind that. Okay. Style is fine. Okay. Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate on the soldier there. I'm not gonna cry about that too much. Again, what do you need to say when you slide to the left?
I'm sliding to the left.
Right, you know, and then maybe your Kiwi comes and helps you, and then this never happens. Because you're looking at the Tracer here, or you're trying to, like, force at the Tracer here, which is, like, reasonable, right? I don't know, that's obviously fine for you to do. But again, like, you need support on this angle. Right? And is your Diva also doing anything here as well?
No, she's on the opposite side.
Right? So it's not just for your backline, it's not just for your Kiri, but if you say sliding to the left, or you say I'm sliding aggressively, or you say sliding left, go now, or something like that, then implies to your Diva that she needs to be doing something, right? Like your Diva needs to be flying on top of the soldier right now, so you don't get punished for this aggressive power slide. And the slide's fine itself, right? Like you shouldn't be able to get punished for this. It's just that again, it's decent with what your team's doing, because you're playing aggressive whilst the rest of your team are being passive here. So yeah, it's a decent with your team, and that's how you could fix it from a communication standpoint. There was a big thing when I was on my last team. We were running Cassidy a while ago, but we really tried to get our Cassidy to talk more because he was the carry guy of our team essentially. and he needed backup and he needed support. Because if he died first like this, we would lose the fight automatically. So yeah, it's really important that again you're intentional with what you say. And in ranked, I guess I can get away with this, right? But yeah, been unfortunate there. I don't think the slide there was bad. I think it was fairly reasonable. It just needs to be coordinated with what your team's doing. Okay, we'll see here. Okay.
Won't quit. Neither will I.
Hopefully you don't get staggered here. We'll get ports. He should be okay though.
Dodge this.
Okay. So, I mean, I get what I get. I know what you're DSing this fight because you're scared about someone pushing here. But again, you should have the visual cue that no one's passing through this sort of area here. And now, who knows, right? Like maybe the trace is set up in this like really annoying spot. This is it, by the way. You can hide here. And then you might need DS for that sort of clearing out. So again, it's a bit unfortunate. Again, you waste DS here. Okay. Angle's okay. Okay. Sure. So I actually really like that, right? So again, I like how you don't push before your diva here. You wait for your diva to come around. And your Lucio as well. So again, timing is good. Better than last time. The slide's okay. Okay. Sure. TP's good. Okay. So I guess like we'll back it up here a little bit, right? Because I want that. There might be a point that I might want to make. Let's see here. Right. So if you're here, what can you see?
Nothing at the moment until Hog peeks out.
Right, pretty much nothing until Hog peeks out. So even though like this position is aggressive in certain circumstances, or contextually, like getting to this angle would have been better in first fight where everyone's sort of rolling out and everyone's playing here, because they're all bunkering in a point. And in fact, this was kind of the same case last fight as well when you were holding the point here. If they're playing underneath, you can't do anything, or you can't see anything. Your LOS is muted, right? I actually have I generally have 4 rules about positioning. Cover, I talk about in my guides as well. Cover, LOS, distance, and rotations. The big rule here is LOS. Like, the cover's good, right? The distance is good, no one can reach you, as I talked about beforehand. Rotations are fine because you can leave or go to a different position. But the LOS is the main thing. So, I would stay here for now. And then unless you've got a good reason to do so, right? So, when actually, what would count as a good reason for you to move off this high ground and go over here? Or why might you want to do that?
If people are playing cage or just sitting in the bell or area,
right,
of the pillar.
Right. So like if let's say hypothetically, God, I don't know, their fucking soldier was like playing super wide here and wanted to play pillar for some reason, or their traitor was pathing around, or you had good scouting information that told you, hey, the traitor loser's coming out on left side here. Then yeah, it would make absolute sense to create distance, play over here, and because they're playing cage. Or again, if the traitor's pushing you and actively pushing you here, like last time, then that would be a good prompt to move over here. But contextually here, this makes no sense. And let's say hypothetically, had you stayed here? Let's just put the camera here. Let's say you stayed here. Like you're still like fairly safe from Hog. You can de-peek him, whatever. You can still look at everyone on point here. You can still again threaten the soldier. No one's gonna threaten you in high ground here necessarily, because again, no one can reach you, as I've mentioned 1,000 times beforehand. You can de-peek like this, and again, if there's a good reason to slide over here, like maybe these guys are playing outside the point and they play a little bit wider, then sure, you can maybe go high ground here, and that can make a little bit more sense. But yeah, like again, for here, you should be okay unless there's a good reason to move. It was a bit unfortunate. You would have also probably maybe gotten beat there, maybe. Maybe your Lucio got LOS to you. But yeah. And look at this, right? Like if you're over here, OC is actually really reasonable, right? You can OC, this person's dead. OC, this person's dead. OC, this person's gonna be dead as well. You get 3 kills, but just because of what you can see, you know? So I guess the question here becomes, why slide here so early?
I think it was just a default thing where it's like the thought process was good the first time, and it just seemed like a generally safe position. I hear go forward, okay, I slide up.
Right. No, yeah. That happens a lot with players in terms of like, it's like the happened a few years ago when Honor players would just like listen to ML7 and they would think, oh yeah, ML7 says play here, it must be a good position, and it's like, yes, but there's contextual reason to that, and this game is so dynamic, it's not relevant where you can just stick a position, camp it, and then wait for people to walk into your sightline. It's way more dynamic than that. And again, you need to be moving in accordance to A, your safety, and B, what you can see, who you can aggress on. And again, in this context here, you just can't see anything, sadly, which is unfortunate, because your mechanics so far have been good otherwise. But yeah, been unfortunate. And that's like a fight decided there. Like, it's actually crazy now that I mentioned that, because, like, it's insane, because if they're having replayed this fight, let's say we replay this fight, you stand over here, you literally win this fight with an OC, or a good OC. Like, it's just night and day difference, on your character. Okay, we'll see next fight, because you will lose this fight for sure. Pretty much. Yeah, you do.
I love staggering my team.
Ah, that's unfortunate. And 90% close to... Maybe you got Sojourn dice here?
This ends now.
We'll talk about that OC in a moment. Okay. Okay. So, let me ask you this. What is the purpose of this OC right now? What are you looking to do with this OC?
Pressure and secure picks.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Oh, no.
but when I ask you that, there's a little bit of hesitation because you don't even know what the specific purpose of this OC is. If I say, I mean, we'll call this OC like general zoning, right? If you press Q right now, they're gonna de-peak your OC, and I mean, I think the beat here is like whatever. Like, I don't think the loser needs to beat this. But I guess that the point that I'm trying to allude to here is what's something else on your team? What's something else that your team can do that can act as a distraction to make these guys move, or like the backline move, or you could to allow you to OC later into the fight to where no one's going to be thinking about your OC, right? What can your team do here that can act as like a big distraction?
Say like full commit to like bunkering on point, fighting
Right,
on point.
right, exactly, right. If your diva goes here, everyone's going to be, and force point, everyone's going to be looking at the diva, and they're all going to be dancing on point, or not thinking about your angle here. That would be a perfect time to OC. But now, because you've OC'd, I mean, these guys are going to be moving away regardless of your OC or not, because of the point pressure your diva's putting. So what I'm saying here is, this OC is going to make them move. This diva is going to make them move. There's no point stacking both of them. It's like stacking High Noon and Window on the same angle. Like, just layer them out, you know? Use Window first, then use High Noon afterwards. It's kind of the same thing here. So, we let your diva do stuff, right? Your diva do whatever. This is a bad beat as well, by the way. It's a terrible beat. And right about, let's say... I mean, you might not even have needed it, to be honest, because this guy just, again, feeds. Like, had there been more point pressure, right? Or maybe the hog goes point, and then stuff goes around on point, right? Then that makes a bit more sense to actually pop the OC. And maybe when this guy starts walking forward, right? Because if this guy stands 20 meters away or 30 meters away, he's not going to be doing anything. I talk about this a lot in my videos about the turn and burn kind of playstyle thing, where like if the back line does nothing, well, things like when your front lines are applying pressure, then that's fine because this guy is doing nothing, haven't got to worry about him, right? Or more likely, this guy's gonna walk forward to help out his front line or to help out the point, in which case you can pop OC and punish that. So that's it's the catch-22, it's the rock and a hard place thing that again you could be saving this OC for. Okay, nice shots. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll see if we can get back to hike on here. Okay. Whoa. Okay, actually, I don't necessarily mind playing here. It just depends what information you have. So, are you getting pings? Let's see. Okay, Diva goes heights. Okay, you know Hog's below. Yeah, okay, I think that's fine. You get a ping for Honors away as well. I think this is fine. You can get OC or slide back in time. You can slide back to high ground. That's okay. Okay, DS, good. Okay, Lucio. Okay. So again, small thing, right? I'm being nitpicky, but again, you can your slides on cooldown. You can look around, shoot stuff, right? Get scouting, whatever. The slide, because right now you're just AFK basically. Yeah, you bro is looking at a wall. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. 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 Right now we're back in a similar issue to where sure these guys are playing cage, but again you still can't see anything. Like the tracer's going on point, the backline's really far away, and they're playing like in this sort of cover area. It's a bit difficult to do anything. I'm glad you do realize this though, and you slide away. But I think again you're sliding away because you're down to, rather than trying to get a better angle necessarily. Okay. Yes is okay. Helps the diva out. Okay. Look how much better you're doing on this angle. I know you're gonna lose this fight, right? But look at how much more you're doing on this angle already. Because you can just, again, zone this entire middle area out entirely. You can still look at point, and you helped out your Lucio a little bit. And again, the Ana can't walk. So, as long as you don't get hooked in or die, this is really good. That guy is just running for his life.
Efficient design at work.
Okay, but better that towards the end. So yeah, main thing so far, just a bit better contextual positioning in those two fights. Faster contextual positioning, i.e. needed to move away here a lot faster, a lot earlier, when the tracer was pushing you. And then some small stuff with like your DS and a little bit of stuff to do with uptime. Nothing insane barring that though. And of course the OC as well. Okay, we'll see here on this next point. Okay. First team is taking a while. There we go. Let's see here.
We're in this together. All of us.
See. Okay, this is fine. Yes, it's okay. Yeah, that's a good yes. Okay with that. Okay, fine. Goal was reasonable. Okay, see here. Fine, reasonable rail. I mean, so far so good, nothing crazy. Again, their backline just in a help position, so that's fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, nothing, pretty nothing. Let's fight there. See here. I mean, I was gonna say the one thing I was gonna say there as well is like if their backline was not playing in this, I don't know why their backline would play it because they've got no cover and you're playing Sojourn here. I don't know why they just couldn't path through high ground, or they could play a little bit wider, play the high ground here maybe, and then that could be a little bit more dynamic. And then again, you can shift your positioning in accordance to that. But yeah, barring that, again, if they're gonna stay there, then sure, just come down that corridor. That's unfortunate. Okay, fine. Okay, so like here's the thing, right? So I get why you're railing this, because the Hog's being aggressed on, and it's not a terrible rail, right? But literally look at the like imagine you had rail here, right? Like this is a done and dusted, and you hit that, right? I guess like the main query or question here is like, what can you visually see right about? I know this might be a bit hard in Discord here, but is the Hog getting help here? Or is it reasonable for the Hog to live here?
It is, yeah.
Now, why is it reasonable if I go a bit forward here?
Both of his supports are there. He ends up getting Suzu'd.
Right.
Probably gets naded as well.
Right. So double pocket plus damage reduction on thinking what's it called, breather. And he's not like within burst range of you getting a burst kill with the railgun. Right. If this guy was like a bar of HP, then sure you can do it. You can go through his damage reduction. That makes sense. And he was actually at that moment in time. But that's past the parcel now. That's gone beyond that. So yeah, of course you just want to catch the rail there before he exits out, which is why you do it. But get a little bit more patience there instead of eking out the ult charge. And again, you get a free pick on that tracer. A little bit more patience on the rail. I'll say it hasn't been a major issue. Okay. Okay, this is where you need to move, right? So you see what Kiriko died here. Where do you need to move to?
With my Lucio.
Right, so be a little bit more specific.
Like,
where would you like to ideally get to?
Either behind the pillar or like the pillar that's Lucio's playing with, or just in that building in general.
Sure, yeah. What about the high ground here?
So if I can get there.
If you can, it's why I said ideally, because I don't know if you can actually get there, especially with the pass like nerf. But I think it's at least worth trying, right? And again, if you don't fall there, if you don't get to the high ground, that's okay. You can play here, and that's fine. So again, this is like, again, we saw this when you were playing against the Tracer a little bit earlier, and you were getting pressured by the Tracer, and she almost killed you. It's a similar thing here, and you end up peeking a soldier, who, again, had you been against any other character or a Sojourn as well, this becomes a lot riskier of a peak. And right now, like, you're, again, very fortunate that, again, you get away with that scot-free. If that soldier had pushed with a Kiriko, again, I don't know what the Kiriko's playing so passive here. If the soldier had pushed with a Hog, or even an Ana, that becomes a lot more dangerous. And again, if I go third person here, I think it might be a little bit more explicit. I don't actually know I don't know why he's de-peaking this, because you haven't got Railgun, he's got Heal Pad, he's still good HP. I don't know why he de-peaks this at all, really. So yeah, just yeah, had he been against a better soldier, a more confident soldier, or a soldier with a Kiriko, you probably end up dying for this, even when you are going high ground here. And now, yeah, now he re-peaks you, but it's too late for him. So, been unfortunate for him. Okay. Okay, sure. So, very small thing, right? But when you, when you go back to high ground here, why not re-peak this immediately?
I mean, I heard him shooting. I would assume he would still be watching it.
Right, is it the Helix or skill? Like, I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just, like, schizo, like, yeah, he used Helix here, so, like, I'm curious as to, like, maybe you're scared of you getting Helix or whatever the case may be, but yeah, I guess my main thing here is, like, he can't reach you, you can still see and hear the soldier if he's playing here, because you've got the small little perforations in the wall, yes, it's a bit of micro there, I suppose, but, it's an idea that I haven't really mentioned so far, because you've actually been pretty good at it, until at least implementing it, but it's like this, playing aggressive but safe positions, to where, again, you can sort of aggress more than you can sort of get for, because, again, soldier can't reach you. So, small thing there, I suppose, but let's get a Helix, and whatever. Okay, we'll see here. The patience that's good. That's fine railgun, so Kiko is moving backwards, that's okay. Yes, it's fine. Honor needs to D-peak. Sure. Fine. Like how you don't drop her as well, because of the hog. The cover's good. Okay. Fine. Oh, why is she standing still? I'm sure. Okay, dropping that's fine. Good corner swing, nice. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna even call that unlucky necessarily, but one thing I was gonna say that I really liked was how far you're swinging this corner wide instead of going forward here, because it gives you more distance in case anyone's peeking around this corner, which is nice. I don't really see that from most of the players. But that's a good micro there. Okay. Yeah, you're barely coming around that corner, so I'm not gonna crowd you for that too much. Okay. Let's see here. And our shots. Fairly one-sided here so far. We'll see this fight. A little bit. Okay, sure. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. I'll talk about that OC in a moment. Okay, so let me go third person here, because you are really, really passive right now, and I want to see where the rest of your team are playing here. And I see the Farah playing their side as well. So, let me ask you a few things. What's one thing that you can do? Your Farah gets cleared in. Let me go back a little bit. What's your Farah playing? Yeah, okay, left side. And your Lucio as well, okay. What's one thing you could maybe play? Where's a position you can maybe play here?
I could probably start further out, like in the cage. I don't want to play on the same angle with my Farah.
Sure. I mean, I know why you say that, because you're scared that, again, you're diminishing the amount of angled pressure you have. You don't want to give these guys a free retake coming around this right side, which makes sense. I guess my sort of reasoning here is against that comp, against these guys. If you press OC, if you're dueling someone, like you're the soldier or this Farah or this Honor, I guess this Kiriko as well, out of these characters, who can like instantly leave the angle or leave if you press OC?
Kiri.
Kiri, right? She can only TP away.
Soldier.
Soldier, kind of, right? I mean, he can sprint away, but that's not burst mobility. This person has some form of burst mobility, but it's not a dash. So, what's one thing you could maybe do here, or a plan you can maybe make with your OC?
Play on the side with the Farah, so if she does get into a duel, it should be a free kill onto theirs.
Right? Not just your Farah as well, but who else? You can enable you on this angle.
Kiri, Lucio.
Right, your Lucio as well, right? So your Lucio can speed you with OC, your Farah can come around the same angle, and then where else might let's say where should your hazard play as well?
Where should he play?
Yeah, if you want to OC this early and swing around this corner wide and catch the Farah.
I'd say like holding one of the corners.
Right, so like here or here, right? So Sojourn players or hitscan players really get into this I guess mindset of, okay, I've got a decent angle, I don't need to do anything, I'm gonna let them come into me, and we can just, we can, I can press my OC whenever they come into my own angle. But you can't always rely on that, and especially when they're playing a comp that is fairly slow, and again, they can't punish you. No one's gonna come at you if you press OC here. Like, the only thing you have to worry about is maybe hog hook, but that's fine if your hazard goes first and your hazard draws all the attention away. It's again something that's what's their name? Nightmare did again really successfully. They did it with Blade instead of OC, but it's the same idea. Where the hazard would go in really, really early, and then the Zero would just like Blade straight afterwards, come from a different angle, pincer, and it was really, really potent on like maps like King's Row Seconds, where there was no ability to kite it. And against this comp, right, that can't kite your engages very well, and you can amp up the tempo, then this is something you can definitely do, right? So let's say hypothetically you stayed here, and you wouldn't OC this. Okay, maybe your Pharah can do some scouting as well, and like ping people where people are at as well. And then, let's say, around about here. Like, now you can press OC, or now you can swing this angle. You can slide once, keep your seconds power slide, kill this person. Your hazard will be in as well to distract the hog as well. And then you get that free kill. And that fight's basically won, you know? Or it doesn't even need to be the Pharah here necessarily, right? Or you can even be here as well. Maybe you can start up to here. Maybe a bit before this, actually. Again, depends on your scouting. Like, here would be perfect, right? Your hazard could be playing this corner, your hazard goes in, you set up here, and then you destroy the Pharah or the soldier. Right? Same idea, same principle. Your loser comes here as well, right? So it's kind of, I guess, like, I don't want this to be like a hindsight thing, but I do want this to be, think proactively about your OC against slow comps, is the big takeaway. Because again, you would have gotten much more value here, and you would have won this fight immediately had you taken an initiative. And let's say, again, what's something you might want to say to your team if you want to make this play?
Play up, I want to OC this fight.
Yeah, right? That's simple. It's that simple. Next time you play in a tournament, and next time you're in Ilios well, I want you to say that to your team, right? If you've got point, of course, and you're about to cap the fight or it's last fight territory, right? That's something you can absolutely say. It's really, really powerful on Koth maps too. To think Lijiang Gardens is the same idea, right? Maybe they're retaking, and it's last fight on Lijiang Gardens. They're coming across bridge. You want to go really early to prevent them from touching point, and it's open space across the bridge. Boom, you OC, and then you win a fight. There's countless case studies. Like, you can look at Nepal Village is another case as well. Sorry, not Nepal Sanctum's the one I'm thinking about. Yeah, plenty of cases where that could have been a really nice play. So I guess that's like a big takeaway that I want you to like take away from this, is because your mechanics are actually really good. Like, they're above Masters or above the Cedo, I'd say. You can be really proactive with your team, and that's a big takeaway you can, I guess, or a strength you can lean into, is be vocal and use your mechanics to your strengths. Because again, here, like, if you're considering the big carry on your team, I don't want you like playing extremely far back here. Not to mention your Pharah gets forced out, you lose all the space, you can barely see shit on your screen right now, and I don't know how you're gonna get a good OC here, or how are you gonna follow up on your hazard, right? Maybe your hazard is the one who wants to play really, really early with spikes, right? And maybe he needs to be saying, I want to play really early here, and then again you can go early with spikes. You don't even have to OC this necessarily, and then you can get some good follow up on your soldier, right? So again, this is a massive like team desync here in terms of you're doing fuck all, your hat is going in, you're not doing anything, and it's a bit unfortunate. Okay. Right, and hell, let's say I know you fuck up the slide, right? But even here, you've barely got a better angle, right? Like, now you can maybe see the Pharah, but she can dash around, and you've got no cover here basically. So the angle isn't even that much better regardless.
I more so wanted to get onto that little corner you could stand on the very top.
Yeah, like there's a little I'm sure like this one of these like ledges things you can like stand on, right? Yeah.
Like by the little curve, because you could jump over the curve and get to the other side.
Yeah, like over like this, right? Like you can over here. Yeah. I mean,
that's
you could even be creative and you can do that as well, right? Like maybe you could, that's a good shout as well, like legit. You could even like set up to here and then use the second slide. Obviously your hazard needs to go in here, and you probably need beat as well. But again, that could be a completely fine fight. Where the fuck does the honor go? You know, like that kind of mindset is what needs to be happening. And if you wanted to do that, like that sort of like, you know, go over play, right? That's fine. I just need to be vocal. You need to say it, or get it out there. So yeah. Okay. We'll see here. And it's I think a big takeaway as well is in pre-fights or in between fights, you need to be thinking, if I've got OC, how can I carry? Or if I've got if we've got beats, or if my team wants to play fast, so again, I don't know if your comms here, right? But maybe your Hazard wants to play really, really far and really aggressive. You need to be positioning in a way to follow up on your Hazard spikes, or whatever ultimate your team has. But with OC, at least I can be in your hands. At least I can be on your behalf.
Let's
Because that could have been a completely different fight had you taken that into your own hands. And that OC gets barely any value.
feeling
Okay,
better.
we'll see here. Okay.
Railgun charge.
Okay. Yeah, Power gets pinged. Go right side. Okay. Nice, sure. And a bit of Micah that I saw as well in the game. It also wasn't the Nightmare Crazy Raccoon game, but I assume this is, was it timed? I'm not even, you guys might have done this well, right? Was it like a coordinated thing between your Concussed Park and the Railgun?
It wasn't. I just
Oh, okay.
noticed that they were trying to back up and then they were getting spammed.
Right. Something that I intentionally saw Crazy Raccoons do was they would do the same thing instead of the Concussed Park plus Railgun, it was the Concussed Park plus Pulse Bomb. So if you play a little bit of Tracer, that might be something you might want to think about too. But yeah. Okay, we'll see here. Fortunate, I was Railgun, that was fine. Yes, it's good. Side's fine. You got one more. Okay. Okay. That's unfortunate. Your team just died there. Let me look at it from top down, because there might be something I'm missing here. Because they looked fairly reasonable on the side of your team here. Let's see. You get free. This happens all the time. So many teams use 5v4s for no reason. No one gets hurt. The wall's fine. Your fire is low. All right, so you probably need to tell your team this. I'm glad this happened because it's going to happen here eventually. Whenever you're in a 5v4, please, for the love of God, can someone on your team just say play slow, or push slowly is the call that I always say to teams. Because the amount of times I've seen teams use 5v4s is insane. If you're this team here, you're going to want to say, or if the only way you can win this fight is to play really, really fast, to look for trades. And by pushing slowly, you prevent that. So of course, you've got a great pick, push it, right? But you need to be done with caution. So that's not on you. You're playing a good amount of distance from the Farah. You're spamming her out too. But again, that's a call that your team needs to make. Really, really, really common at this level of play, even in tier 3. But yeah. Okay. Let's see next fight, because that's lost, obviously. Okay. Okay. Distance is fine. Sure. Okay. Okay. Fight's fine. Fine. Yeah, good kite. Where's your team though? Okay, Lucio. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. Your front line's okay. All good. Let's see what you're playing. Oh, this. How's your team? It looks so fine there for a second. Yeah, Hazard gets soul hogged. Your Hazard's really low. That's why. Yeah, there's not much you can do there. You kited the nano fire really well. Your front line just gets walked over. It has not have. He doesn't okay. He's got a wall and he's got leap, but doesn't leap out.
He's not used to the character. Like
Oh,
I said, we were mostly a monkey team, so like
yeah.
having to like adjust after the patch, it's a little rough.
Is it? What is it about the patch that makes you think Monkey's unplayable?
It's mainly the armor change that kind of like, because the teams that we've end up going against that we struggle to, I guess, run over are usually teams that like to run slower comps or Hazard in return, and we don't know how to deal with it.
Interesting. When's the tournaments?
I think today is our lower finals match, and then grand finals is on Sunday if we win that.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like today having your lower finals match be today is not ideal, obviously. Because like ideally you would like to have time to learn Hazard, to learn a new character. Here's what I'll say: like at this level, which is low, mid, and high masters, depending on varying SRs, but generally at this level you should be able to get away with Winston. I don't know what the scrims are saying or looking like. But even when Malgo got like a bunch of nerfs, and everyone thought that character was dead. Nobody was playing it in scrims, and yet Falcons come second playing Malgo. You know, I think especially at this kind of level, there's at least a little bit of leeway with how much you can get away with the character depending on how good you are at it. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on the mic, that maybe that armor change literally just killed the character entirely, but I highly doubt it. Because if characters like Malga can live through 5 trillion nerfs and be really powerful, I think Manku should be relatively okay. So especially at this level as well, where there might be some optimizations your Winston play can be looking to make. But yeah, who knows? Okay, we'll see here.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like
we would run it fine. I think this scrim we played on one of the push maps. I think it was Esperanza or something.
mm,
We were
yeah,
we were scrimming with bans in mind, so we would do bans, and we just got rid of the Sojourn just to get rid of some frontline pressure, so we could force a monkey dive, and it worked out fine. I think it's more so afraid of our tank getting chunked.
right,
Because
yeah.
previous matches, there would be an issue of our monkeys standing in choke because they get poked out too early.
Right. No, you're actually, that's 100% true. So it's the exact same thing that happened in Malga meta. Even with good Malgas, like tier 3 Malgas, would get their armor chunked off before the actual fight itself, and they would stomp in and die and get blown up, even with cardiac overdrive. And I have a fear that, as again, you were going to say that's the exact same thing. I think, again, it's like a... I hate saying this because it might offend your Winston player, but it's kind of a skill issue if you're taking that much damage. It not always is, right? Maybe your team just aren't set up correctly. But again, if big ass characters like Malga are able to be playable despite the copious nerfs to his armor, to his entire character kit, right? At this kind of level, you should be able to figure that a way out, right? Because like if I see your Hazard doing that, like that is insane. That's an insane feat, you know. The fact that he's got wall plus leap and doesn't leap out immediately is really not great. And your team's gonna lose that fight now because of it. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Okay, we'll see here. Okay. Okay.
Thanks for the help.
Okay. Right, look at what their team do. Right, so this is exactly what I was saying to what you guys could have done here. They don't do it well, admittedly. But their far barrage is really early. She's then scouted over the roof. You've got no idea where she's really playing. The only downside of this, is of course, you can see the desync, right? The Far is going in alone, the Hog's out. She's really alone right now. But this kind of ideal or mindset is really powerful. And this barrage is terrible because, again, she's alone. But literally gets a free pick because of it. So that kind of mindset is kind of what I'm alluding to by pushing early when it's last fight territory. Because you're not going to be expecting it. And, again, you need to touch. So, yeah. Okay, pushing Soldier is fine. Ordinarily dribbling down is not great, but yeah. Okay. Okay. It's a small thing, right? But again, I would have preferred you to like either slide. Where can you slide? I kind of gave it away with my camera. But yeah.
Probably left. If I slide right, chances are I'm gonna get stuck on that pot.
Oh yeah.
Map geometry has killed me way too many times. I don't.
Yeah. No, I get that. Of course, it's over time and it's like it's not instinctual, and you might not necessarily know who's playing here, right? It's easy for me to say that when again I can clearly see there's no one here. But yeah, at least like left side, either back in the room, back on the high ground, or again you can flip map here a little bit earlier here. Again, third time you've been a little bit slow. I think that would have been fine. Okay. Okay. I think the DSL's 3 on, right? That's fine. Yeah, sure. Okay. Sure. And you win the map. Okay. I think you win the map. Hopefully. I'd like to get... There we go. We'll see here. Okay. Let's see here. Same comps. Roughly. Okay, Hazard now. Okay. Okay. Been crazier so far. Okay. So I guess like one question I have, and it's not a flaw, it's not a mistake rather, but it's like I guess it's a query. Why do you deep this angle entirely when you see the hazard spikes? The wall rather.
I'm thinking that like because the hazard used a cooldown on me, someone else is surely going to come on that angle and try to contest me.
Right, and I think that's a fair point because the Sojourn does actually come and contest you here. but it links back to what I said about like playing these aggressive but safe angles, because even if the Sojourn comes here, the hazard's too far away, like he can't leap and kill you. Second off, the Sojourn here, even if you take a railgun and you're by peeking up like this and trying to get a better angle, you're fine. You can pass it back in, you're okay. So I think you can really bargain or get more than you can actually get out by staying on this angle here. There's no reason to leave here, essentially, even if the Sojourn like come and went for you. Right, because like now you would have had a fully charged railgun, prep for that Sojourn. You can even DS the corner here, and now you've got an amazing angle. This person can't take it because you've DS'd it, you've shot off with the railgun, whatever you do here, and then you can again get a really nice angle here and keep the catwalk. So yeah, missed opportunity is how I would classify that. Not mistake, but missed opportunity. My voice. Even here, right? Where could he even move to if you don't want to play right side?
I could just play the pillars around main.
Right? You could swing. Right? You could swing a lot wider here, play left side, and use the yellow west here, right? Because you can barely see. Like if I go to your POV here, around about a little bit beforehand, right? You can barely see anyone, right? Like you can barely see the Farah, Sojourn no, Honor barely, Hazard barely. Like you can see basically nothing. So yeah, I want you to swing wider and get more than you can bargain out for. Okay. And again, that DS looks interesting to me, right? Because what's the purpose of this DS?
I saw someone was low. I didn't know who it was. I just shot it hoping it would finish them off.
Right.
They try to re-peek that angle.
And that's the catch-22 of it, right? Because if they don't re-peek it, right, what can you do?
I mean, I could just camp the catwalk, I suppose.
Right, well, not just even camp it, right? But again, you can push it further. So again, it's a catch-22. Either they walk in your DS and they die. Well, they're not going to do that, right? Or they de-peek it entirely and weigh out the DS. In which case, you get this angle for free for a good 5 seconds at least. So again, it looks to me like you're not syncing your aggression with how you're using your CDs with how you're moving here, essentially. Okay. 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 And now we're taking it. Okay. Sure.
Because it's afraid of the hazard.
Say that again, sorry?
I think I was just afraid of the hazard. If I take that angle, he'll just jump on me.
Right, and this is the thing, right? You want him to jump at you, right? So, and the reason why I say that is if you don't want him to jump at you, you're probably not in a safe position. If you do want him to jump at you, you probably are in a safe position. So what makes these angles aggressive but safe, right, is let's say this big guy wants to come and leap onto you. He is putting himself at risk by doing that. Because if he does that, what are some of the things that you and your team can do?
Well, I can kite it.
Right, you can kite it so you're safe. Right, what else can your team do?
They can spread out and take the angles that he just
Exactly, right? This guy can just zone 3 people, and then the rest of your entire team can just burn the Hazard who leaps it, and he dies. Right, that's how Hazards feed. So it's really important that I guess like you understand or like internalize that you kind of want the Hazard to come and leap at you, because if he does, he's putting himself at risk, or his team at risk, mind you. Because again, if he leaps from here to here, well now this angle's completely free, and then your Farah, your Lucio, your Hazard, your Kiri can swing super wide and go on their backline. So that's the trade-off, and that's really, really important to know or understand. So yeah. Okay. And again, if you've got scouting, if you've got like again, if you know where he's playing, you'll be okay. So yeah. Of course, you would be out of his one-shot range, but especially first fight where he was just 20 trillion years away, and now this guy is just dancing. He's literally leaping right now on the opposite side of the fucking map. Like you can be over here and you're fine. So again, pay attention to the Hazard and what he's doing and where he's playing. If you are really scared about him, which you should be. But yeah. It's like, I'm just thinking like, oh my days, you could have been right here, and then just destroying that guy, forcing him out, and then he has to make a move, right? Do I leap away and give space? Or do I just firm it, and do I just lose all my HP? Or do I leap over here, in which case, again, as I just described, I lose all the space anyways, and my team can get punished for it. So yeah. Okay, we'll see here. Okay. And look at their Sojourn, right? Their Sojourn actually does it. Right? It's just the crazy thing is that their Sojourn does what you don't, and that's kind of the difference maker of this map, I suppose, because she's not afraid. Well, she is afraid of your hazard here, but she's got no good reason to be, because this guy has been fighting their hazard the entire time, mirrored on this lane, so she can push this for free, and she takes that and she kills you. So that's the really important idea. Okay, we'll see this next fight. Okay. Right. And it's like, whoa, what we do? Oh, whoa. Like, what's the issue here?
Far rockets.
Alright, what else?
And I just slid in front of a hazard.
Right, that voice crack, Jesus. But yeah, right. Like you just told me that last fight you were scared about taking the right side angle with the catwalk because you were scared about the hazard jumping onto you. But what's this? You know, like holy hell, I would be terrified right now. Now I know you've got another power slide here, right? Or maybe you don't, right? Because it's on CD right now. But like I would be terrified of that hazard. One good leap, if this guy was covered, he kills you right now. Like it's over. Or like this guy walls you off and he kills you. So like this is like borderline suicidal by doing this. Like that's very scary. Oh my god! Right, that's like I'm literally getting PTSD watching this. My own Sojourn player a month ago. Like it's terrifying. And again, a better hazard player would kill you for this. So yeah. And now look how stressed out you are. Like really scared. Okay, better angle here at least. At least you finish in a decent position here. But the funny thing is that like you've actually survived the hazard cycle. Like you've survived the scary part about that character. So you can take this angle here for free, and he's not gonna come for you for the next 2 or 3 seconds, right? So you can go here, scout, farm up rail, force out, whatever you want, like maybe the far here, right? But you're not doing that, which is the slightly confusing thing, right? So yeah. And you're also getting consistent pings that he's over here as well. Like you've got pings that he's moving away from you. So yeah. At least you do take the angle here eventually, which is good. But again, it could have been done a little bit earlier, or with a bit more confidence that, again, he's not going to go onto you if he just went onto you. So yeah. Okay. I think I know it's on the wall there, but it's fine. I can just mark off point. That's a fine DS. Okay. Okay. Door. I was gonna say slide on the corners with your front line and then slide to the top right here, because you can just slide away more easily. But I guess that's fine as well. Nothing crazy. Hoorah. We'll see this next fight. Get it up. Okay. Okay. Really far away. Okay. So again, it looks to me like that like you're really offbeat with your team, because how you're playing is you're baiting, in other words, right? You're playing such that you want to force out an ultimate from these guys, and then your frontline can run away, and then you can push back with like a Katsune on point maybe. That's actually fine. But again, it doesn't look like your team's doing that. Like look how far up your hazard is playing right now. So where could you be playing in accordance, or where could you be playing to follow up on what your hazard's doing?
I could go further up into their side on that room.
Right, so maybe the room is a little bit, I guess, a little bit risky, right? Why not being in the room be a little bit risky here?
Well, hazard could wall me off.
It could wall you off,
like,
right?
From behind.
Right, in close space, you're within distance. Right, this is the main part. Is why this angle is really dangerous, because it's not a lot of distance from point A to point B. So it's kind of a trick question. In other words, in terms of like, you can just kind of play here, really, to be honest. You can still see a decent amount. You've got a distance is really the key thing against the hazard, and you can slide back anyways. So that's where I would normally be playing, because you can still do stuff, right, while still having the ability to slide away. But again, my main worry is what your hazard's doing. So you force Nano. You should be leaping out right now. He's got leap. Leap in 4. What do you use it on? Okay, sure. Yeah, he's playing too much for the kill. He should be deep peeking this, just jumping away. Which is unfortunate. Because he probably will die for this. Woo, he's alive. That's wild. Oh no, he dies, okay. Yeah, this is the thing with your hazard player, is like, your frontline just gets destroyed there because again, it seems like what you're doing is, again, fine in different contexts, right? If your hazard can actually leap away, your team's betting correctly because you've got a Genji and can dash out, then what you're playing is reasonable. But yeah. With how aggressive your team's playing, I would be expecting you guys to go first with like Kitsune or something. Okay, we'll see here. It's a similar mistake that I alluded to in the previous map with how far back you're playing. Okay, we'll see here. Okay. Okay. Sure. Yes, I'll mention that in a moment. Hazard just not went onto that at all. Good catch. I'll talk about the OC as well. Alright, so we'll see where you move to here in terms of like how you're essentially moving here. Is the hazard scout here? You know what the hazard is. Okay. Okay. What's the mistake here? It's nothing crazy, but it's a small thing.
Using Disruptor shot too early?
Not necessarily, right? So like we talked about how if you're playing against an aggressive frontline, so against like a Genji or a Tracer, then using DS to prevent dive characters can be useful. Against this guy or against this comp, not really. You can just use it to finish off kills or zone off an angle, then push it. Similar to what I alluded to here. So DS is okay, right? Because you can zone off Honor, so she can't heal off the Haz, and that's fairly okay. If the DS is like could be improved, I'm not majorly complaining about it. What I am complaining about though is where the hazard is playing and where your hazard is playing as well. So where could you swing or how could you move in accordance to how this team fight goes? And what's the issue with how far you're playing up right now?
I have no info.
Right, you don't know A, you know where the hazard is, right? B, is your hazard going in right now?
Not really, no.
Not really, no. Right, he's actually lost all of his armor. It's kind of what you said about his Winston, right? Like he loses all his armor pre-fight. You're bang on about that. He's got no armor right now. But what I want your hazard to do here is basically go in or zone off the entire backline like this. You can swing wide away from this corner, or again try and bait the hazard going onto you, right? Maybe you play around here, look at the hazard, he goes onto you, slide away, that's fine. Maybe you stay here, or again you look at the hazard, he doesn't go onto you, he sleeps away, then you can walk forward here, or slide forward, and that makes a little bit more sense, because otherwise, this is like really, really scary, right? This sort of distance or this sort of range. Luckily, again, he's going onto your Kyoko here, so you get away with it. But it's the timing, in other words, it's the timing of your angle pressure. I think you're doing it too early. I think you're pushing up a little bit too early, before your hazard even goes in, and before you even cleared out the hazard here. That's the biggest mistake. Yeah, even here, he starts looking at you right now, right there. Terrible, what was that wall? And yeah, he could have actually marked you here entirely. I don't know why is he leaping away? I don't know, he should be going onto you right now, still with wall, and then he could actually very easily kill you. So that's my main concern, is that you haven't really, you and your team haven't really forced up the hazard here, and you're playing way too close to him really, really early on. But yeah. And then the OC's okay. Again, 2 ults to win this fight for 1 isn't anything crazy. But yeah. Okay, we'll see in the next slide.
Precision and control.
Fight's good. Fine rail. Spider way's reasonable. But nothing crazy. They used 2 ults for that, so I'm fine with that. Okay, fine. Looks like the last fight to me. Again, look out. Again, their father did it again, right? This one's actually better because she's playing cover, and just, our team's a little bit further pushed up. But again, that's kind of the same idea. Okay. They need to touch it. Okay. Seems fine. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy I can really mention here, right? I guess the only thing I can really say is try and from up rail, then slide left to get to try and get a trade on any backliners over here or over here. But barring that, nothing crazy. You can't slide up to here. Your LOS will be limited, and there's not really any better rotations you can make. I guess you can also go into the catwalk, but again, the hazard's really close, so again, not ideal. I think what you do is fairly okay. Maybe looking for trades is the only thing I could really add on to that. But I guess the key idea of that fight was actually everything that happened before you even touched. It's that's Farah going in really early and getting a Lucio in the early fight, and that causes a really scuffed touch for your team. So yeah. Okay, we'll do a quick summary here at the end, because there's a lot of stuff that I mentioned here. I guess the main one is, or main things, let me think. Because I want to order this in terms of importance. And I guess also ease in terms of improvement. Mechanics are fine. The softer shots on the main part were okay. Like, this DS have been better than a lot that I've seen. I guess, like, the main thing, it has to probably be, like, contextual and dynamic positioning. And the biggest things that we've seen is, again, making sure you slide to a position hang on, I'll just mention the factors here. LOS on first points. And even second point, I think LOS has actually been the main thing, but in different ways. So on first point, it was that you slid aggressively and saw no one because they were playing underneath the point. And then the second point, and even this point too, your LOS has been limited because of how far away you play. Away from your team, which limits the impact you can get from OCs, and it limits it makes that so it's basically ensures that your front line get forced out really early on, because you're not putting a good amount of pressure on their front line, and you're playing again really far away, and you can barely see anyone. So I guess like the main qualms here, or I guess things to mention here, would be how do I want to make this like practical, I guess. I guess position in accordance in order to your front line and what you and I guess like the biggest part of that is you almost want, like, do I want, I'll have like a rhetorical question. Do I want to be so? And you should be trying, you should honestly be trying to say yes to that question as much as you can. If not, that's probably because you're not in a safe position to begin with. So that's probably the biggest thing I'll say there. Okay, we'll say the second point to this. Think. Would timing be a point here? Not necessarily. Okay, I'll say this because it's something that you can do. Also, like vocality in overclocks slash aggression. I'll say vocality and aggression. I think that's more broad. Aggression. And aggression comes in two places, right? Your OC, which should be easier to do, right? Because you can call that pre-fight. And then your slides, which should be a bit harder to do because there's a lot of stuff going on. So I wouldn't expect you to get this straight away. But again, it's something that you can build on if you focus on it in scrims, which is again to be done in the mid fights. Again, the purpose of this is to, like, again, essentially tell your backline or warn your backline, and then also tell frontline to do stuff. Again, I think an example of that would have been first point, where we saw you slide to the high grounds, and then I think it was your diva, just did nothing. Like AFK down main, should have marked the soldier. Had that diva been on the soldier there, you do not die to that soldier. And again, that's not necessarily on your fault, because I think the angles again was completely reasonable. But it was in terms of like the broader structure of the team, in terms of the timing and whatnot. So yeah, that's something you could potentially fix with that. I guess I put timing here as well. I'll put timing. Okay, and then third thing. Let me think. I could say disrupt the shots. Yeah, I'll say this. I'll say like, disrupt the shots. In two ways. Again, force out, prevent aggressive frontliners, and zone and take space. And honestly, most of your DSs were pretty decent, honestly, or at least acceptable. But again, first fight against a Tracer could have done that. First fight on this point against the Sojourn could have done that. In fact, she did it to you. And again, I think that's like the key thing because there were certain opportunities. Like you're one of those players that like there's nothing that's like glaringly bad about your play. Like you're kind of like again fairly okay in terms of positioning, fairly okay in terms of your disruptor shots. So it's going to be a bit harder to like I guess improve on all these things because it's not like you've got like a glaring weakness. But it is in terms of like there will be fights where had you done something else, you probably would have won. And I think again, first fight on this map and the fight with OC on first point, those are like big pivotal fights. And hell, even the fight on what's it called the Ilios well where you had OC and you can push really aggro with that. And you got nothing with the actual ultimate because of how far back you're playing. All those three fights I think are microcosms or are big takeaways that you can internalize about how you play the character. And again, I think I guess the biggest takeaway here is: do I want that hazard to dive me? Do I feel safe in the position that I am right now? In fact, I would actually after this I would look up or in your spare time I would go to like Lethal's POV or like a good Sojourn's POV and look at how aggressive they're playing, on how much they're looking to bait the enemy hazard trying to jump onto them or the Winston. I think Lethal's a bit not probably the best example because he probably does it a little bit too much. I mean, you could even look at Lethal because again, I think going at it too much or looking at where can almost give you a general idea of how he does it, and then again you can refrain it a little bit or refine it because he doesn't do it perfectly. But yeah, any questions? Because I've yapped a lot. But yeah.
You mentioned that you don't like double spam variations of like
Yeah.
fast comps.
So I only like it when it's only fine when Genji's banned. When like Trace is not very good on a certain map. You often see like the only time you'll really see Farah Sojourn is when Genji's been banned. Yeah. What was the question for that?
What would you prefer to see, like, because our Farah player is kind of like staple Farah. They're
Right.
pretty much known for playing
You
Farah.
Here's the
So,
thing, right? So like at that level of play, like those are like the three best teams in the world playing against like two best teams in the world playing against each other. Then it will actually matter. For you, you'll be fine. Like it'll be fine if you play Far Social as you are right now. And actually, you can even be like getting I guess because you're running Lucio Kyria and not fucking Juno Zen or like Double Flex support from whatever crazy raccoons are running when they did play Far Social. You can actually play a lot more aggressively, or you can actually look to bait quite aggressively, especially when the Genji's been banned. Because again, he's less aggressive frontline, so you can play up a little bit more. But yeah, I think paying attention to the bans is also really important. If Hans is banned, Tracer on some maps, Genji is a really key one. That will change how you position it drastically. Because again, you haven't got to worry about being busted down by a Hazard or a Genji. But yeah, I think you'll be fine running Far Surge. I guess again the key thing is how far you can really play up and push instead of having to play back in Narnia all the time. But yeah, any other questions?
um,
If not, that's fine. You can always DM me later.
so if they were running like if they were more committed to like a dive comp with a Tracer or Genji, would the way that I was playing through this
Yeah,
VOD
yeah, that's a good point,
be
right? So
more?
the way you were playing, say you were playing against Tracer Genji Hazard, right, or some like Lucio Kiri as well. Like the way you were playing here would make more sense. 'Cause the way you play against
Okay.
that when you're playing when you're playing a Soj is literally pure prevention, right? Can I force up this person early? Can I force up this person early? And because you can outrange both of these characters, then yeah, you are playing longer sight lines, more distance, high grounds, and forcing them out, right? Then the DS stuff becomes really important, and your dynamic positioning will be really important as well because you can't stay in the same position against that comp. You will get outmobiled, or you'll get outmaneuvered rather, and you'll get jumped on. So yeah, really important to move really quickly, or to move into and not stay in the same position for too long. And really important about the DS stuff, right? But what you initially played, right, playing far back, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, anything else?
No, not at this moment.
Cool. Okay, I've recorded the VOD, so you can hopefully watch it back in your spare time when I upload it in a few days.